Do you like comedy, black history, and having a dope time? Then the critically acclaimed show, Drunk Black History, is for you. Sponsored by Aquiana Rum and Sorrel Liqueur, Drunk Black History returns for a Juneteenth celebration where prominent black historical figures will finally get their due through drunken anecdotes from booked guests. This show is destined to be educational and absolutely bonkers. The show is being held on Wednesday, June 19th at Littlefield in Brooklyn. Doors open at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the show starts at 7 p.m. Be sure to get your tickets to this hilarious and educational show before they sell out. Tickets can be purchased at drunkblackhistory.com. Once again, that's drunkblackhistory.com. Learn, laugh, drink, and repeat.
You are now listening to ForAllNerds Show, a podcast about geek and pop culture from the perspective of people of color. ForAllNerds Show is a member of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to our founder, Combat Jack.
ForAllNerds is hosted by Tatiana King and DJ Benhameen.
ForAllNerds Show is powered by our listeners. Everything we do, from our podcasts, live events, our website, are all independently funded. Please continue to support us through our Patreon page at patreon.com/ForAllNerds.
Welcome to ForAllNerds.
And what's up, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the ForAllNerds Show. The voice of the urban geek, the podcast where we discuss geek and pop culture from the perspective of people of color. And as always, in the captain's chair, it's your boy, DJ Benhameen, a.k.a. Chewbacca Khan, Lando Californication. There is Skywalker, Han Dolo, Kylo Bent, Acolyte work. Acolyte work? One of the two.
Acolyte
you
work.
say tomato, I say tomato. The butcher of names, back in the spaceship again, and I'm joined by
Tatiana King, the Grand Duchess of Tech, also known as the Lord of Lightsabers, Gucci Mane DeLorean, Good Grief Karga, Gin and Juice Urso, and Lambo Calrissian.
And welcome. Thank y'all for joining us. I hope everybody's having a beautiful week. I'm not sure what day of the week you're hearing this on. Could be any day, but thank you for joining us, because you could be anywhere and you're right here listening to us, watching us perhaps on youtube.tv/ForAllNerds or your favorite podcast platform, wherever it is. Welcome. And we are back and we're hyped, because we are here to talk about episode 3 of the Act Right Acolyte.
And as you can see the smile on my face, I am happy. Episode 3 of the Acolyte is the one. Yes. Now I get it. I see where you're going with this, my sister Leslie. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, I have to say the same. If you listened to our review last week where we talked about episode 1 and 2, both of us were quite whelmed by episode 1 and 2 at best. At best, we were whelmed. There were moments of, ooh, this is fire. But overall, it was like, this is kind of whelming.
For me, it was giving and nigga, so now what? But we're hearing the now what now. And I'm just like, the world has opened up.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
And while I'm still not all the way, lit, I am much more open to seeing where this is going, like you said. I really want to see, okay, all right, now let's see where we go with these last 4 episodes, because I've already seen 4, and I enjoyed 4 as well. 3 is still my favorite of them all, but I definitely enjoyed 4. And we will see where it all goes with the last 4. But 3 was the one, like you said, where I was like, oh, okay, y'all got something really to say here, and y'all really are going to say some things that, while I've seen said before in Star Wars, I feel like it's one of those things that bears repeating a lot.
Yeah. I'm very glad you said that it says something. And that's what I was looking for. I need, especially an offshoot of a well-known big commercial property. Like that sometimes they're doing things just to sell the merch. Like, I need something that has something to say. I need something that has substance, and I need something that is going to challenge me and everyone else on their thoughts of what is supposed to be, like what is supposed to be right, who's supposed to be in charge and who is not supposed to be in charge. And that's exactly what this episode did for me. It just gave me something more than what we've been seeing when it comes to these Star Wars films or even the shows.
Mm-hmm. Now, the shows, again, I had to...
Not the animation, but the live action stuff.
Yeah, I always had to make that distinction because, again, I recommend everyone, if you want to really see, like, the ideas that we're starting to see explored in live action, they have been thoroughly explored when it comes to Star Wars and animation. And I feel like people don't know that and haven't seen enough of that. And that's why when some of the stuff is presented on the Acolyte, you're like, oh, shit, because it really hasn't been discussed yet. Like, it's very rare I don't think we've ever seen anyone outside of Jedi and Sith using the Force
not live action, and
not in live action
that I recall. Could be wrong, but it's very rare. There have been other species using the Force. I mean, obviously you look at Yoda and things like that, but it's more often than not humanoid type looking character. And when I say humanoid, I mean literally people who look like you and I, right? Like, not just the ones that stand on two legs. Like, to see, and I know in the cartoons they've shown other stuff, but to be able to see things like Wookiees use Force, right? And other aliens and things that you don't normally see use these things, enjoy that a lot. And I want them to continue, because my thing is, because they are continuing down the mythos of Star Wars, but expanding it and trying to dig into themes and people and places generally that you've never seen before, or things that they never communicated to you before. Like, I'm just wanting them to really take risks. And that's what, again, with a lot of, and I keep saying a commercial property, I mean these big machines, because at the end of the day, Star Wars is a machine, just like many other properties. But when you have these big machines, you tend not to see risk taken. You tend to see, you just want to stick to it. But then we see a lot of risk taken with things like Rogue One, with Andor, with all of these other things where it's challenging the status quo. And that's why I think I dug so deeply into episode 3 of The Acolyte.
Mm-hmm. I do agree with you there with Rogue One and Andor. And episode 3 of The Acolyte, as everyone who's watching or listening to this right now, you have probably already seen it. Hopefully you have, because we will be talking some spoilers. This is for those who've seen the latest episode. Off top, I just want to stop and give props to, what is this woman's name? Because she is featured heavily. Jodie Turner-Smith playing Mother Anisa.
And Anasea.
Mother Anasea. Jodie's from Queen and Slim. Huh?
I was going to say, you love you some Jodie.
Whew, I mean, that's a beautiful woman. Like, let's keep it real. And she is regal. She is everything. I'm not sure if anyone's ever suggested her for Storm in live action.
We've been suggesting her for years.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. My distaste for Queen and Slim might have made me, not want,
It looked good, but maybe not the story so much.
Yeah, I mean, damn. Yeah, I honestly didn't even think Jodie was that attractive in that movie because I hated it so much.
You hated the movie so bad.
Like, she is way more, Storm-esque in this that I couldn't even picture her as Storm from Queen and Slim. But she rules this episode. Let's just say that up.
She is a standout on this episode. I gave props to the young girls who play May and Osha. Yes. They are absolute standouts, opposite to Jodie and everyone else. But
Leia Bradley is Little May.
Thank you. Leia Bradley is Little May. Do they mention in the IMDb who Osha, the young Osha is? Or is she playing both characters? Amanda?
No, it's two different young girls.
It is two different little girls, right?
Two different little girls who are playing them.
Little Osha is played by Lauren Brady.
There we go.
But they're sisters in real life, so Leah Brady and Lauren Brady.
Aw, they're so adorable too.
Yeah, but
and killed it as actors.
So freaking good. The pacing of this episode, I thought, was phenomenal because for me, it wasn't a retread of familiar ground. It was, let's take you someplace else. And what's the name they planned? I keep calling it Brendan, but it's not Brendan. It's
It's close to that. Brendock, I think.
Brendock, yeah. They on planet Brendan Fraser. So
I was trying to every time they said the name, they're like Brendock. You know, I'm like,
it just seemed like a random around the way spot. Like, okay.
Nigga, I was over on Brendock yesterday.
I was on Brendock ass, you know what I'm saying? My MLK part of the galaxy. Yeah. But yeah, so
it was kind of hood. So I mean, Brendock did look kind of desolate.
It's for a reason. It's for a reason. Okay, they want their space and they want to be alone. Clearly,
I mean, but when Shorty was like, "I want to bounce," I didn't disagree with her.
So let's get into that. Okay, like I said, pacing.
Like they had to go to where the Jedis were to see grass.
In this episode,
niggas didn't even touch grass.
In this episode, niggas are surrounded by grass. That's neither here nor there.
Well, no, when they went to where the Jedis were, in they shit, it was dark. There was no grass.
In this episode, it's focused on what Portia P and I, who reviewed the trailer, was most excited about. It focuses on these Force witches, this coven of Force witches. Mm-hmm. I want to be fucking down. I want to be part of the coven. Absolutely. Maybe not this one because we see what happens at the end, but a
coven,
a Force coven specifically. Particularly because, as we just said about how you get to see different people using the Force, but the different ways in which the Force is used and the different symbolisms, stories, just like how Black people have different folk tales and folklore than everybody else and other stuff. And even Black people around the world have various different, variations of the same stories. And same with other cultures and ethnicities and things like that. But to be able to, as much as Star Wars is always talking about there's a trillion billion different life forms in the galaxy that kept showing the Force used the same over and over again. It's nice to see it from a different perspective and the, not so much religion, but the respect behind it about how the witches view the Force or that power. They don't even call it the Force. They call it the thread. And it's a thread of the universe. And it's similar to what in real life, what a lot of cultures view, like when we say your essence or the power that's around you, right? Power can neither be created nor destroyed, right? It's just something around you. Your chi, you're this, you're that. There's so many words for it. But to just be able to see that done differently, and also the expression that, quote, the Force is not the only way to look at this. There are other ways to look at this energy and this thing around you. There's different ways to accept that concept, and there's different ways to teach and learn that concept as well. So I fucked with that heavy.
I did too, definitely, 100%. Like I say, if you watch the animation, you've definitely seen this before. The witches in particular are, for people who've watched the animation, and they were even in the Ahsoka show, there's a coven called the Witches of Dathomir, and Dathomir is another planet that's inhabited by, these are not the Witches of Dathomir. This is another coven
I thought she was going to say, these are not the witches you're looking for.
Yeah, these are not the witches you're looking for. I mean, the Witches of Dathomir are never the witches you're looking for, honestly. Like, if I'm going to roll with either one, I'm rolling with these shorties over here. Because the ones on Dathomir are like, they're the Night Sisters. They are dark. As if you watch Ahsoka or seen them in Clone Wars, they're usually wearing all red, and their faces are white and usually withered. They are associated with Asajj Ventress as well as Darth Maul. But Leslie, the showrunner.
Leslie Headland.
Leslie Headland, the showrunner of the Acolyte, said that she was taking inspiration from the legends, which are like before Disney bought Star Wars, there was what they called the expanded universe, which were hundreds of novels. So there's all these different stories with all kind of weird shit. I mean, just anything you could think of, because it could be an author who just had a book and he was like, I'm trying to get this published. And they're like, make it a Star Wars book. And he's like, all right, and change a few words. And it's Star Wars. But it could have been some random sci-fi book that had nothing to do with what we know is Star Wars. So
the canon.
So there's a lot of that in canon. And there were a lot of people when Disney bought this and said, all this is now legends and not official canon. People were highly upset. Shout out to my brother Young Guru being one of them. And I was more like, dog, not all of that shit is great. And it's so much like Chewbacca gets killed by a moon being dropped on him in one book.
Damn, that's some justice level shit.
Yeah, I mean, my man goes out hard. But at the same time, do we really need Chewbacca dead crushed by a moon in canon? I don't think so.
I mean, it'd be interesting. I don't know if you need it, but it's something different.
It's something different. I guess you're right. But we got Han Solo stabbed on a bridge. So, it worked out. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of stuff like that. And so what Leslie was doing is drawing from some of these legend stories and then some of the stuff that we've seen with the Witches of Dathomir and created a brand new coven. But it is also things that, like I said, we've seen before, but I'm just loving seeing it now in live action. Like you said, different applications of the Force. People who don't look at it from a light and dark side.
Correct.
People who just look at it as a force to be used and power. Like, Mother is more concerned with power. She ain't worried about light or dark. She worried about having power, keeping her people safe, and serving fools who run up. So it don't matter. All that light and dark shit is irrelevant to her. And I think that's a very interesting take on things. And I'm really glad to see that in this show.
And I was really happy about the conversation she raised about the aspect of power and who gets to, because then it gave me the thoughts like, I was thinking black people in America, right? The aspect of power and who gets to wield it and who says who gets to wield it. And that's why I started, my whole fuck the Jedi shit started building up even more, because I was just like, yeah, nigga, who the fuck are they to say who can do this and who can't? And our way is law of the galaxy and shit like that. Who the fuck are you, right? And y'all not the only niggas that can do this. That is special, like everybody want to talk about everybody. You're special. You're special. You're special. I am special because I said so, not because y'all dictate. And Mother Anastasia said, she has that. She said it was like one sentence, but it opened up a cadre of conversation in my head. Like, now wait a fucking minute, she ain't fucking wrong. Who is these niggas?
Mother Makusa.
Mother say Mother Sama Makusa. Looked at the Jedi and said, who is these niggas?
When she said, I didn't raise these children to have them be taken away by some deranged monks. Deranged.
And that was her. I guess that's her partner who said that. Who actually carried the kids, the girls, the twins. First of all, I love the whole coven aspect. I love that it's female focused, all this other stuff. They was also throwing in like traditional witch shit, like when they was doing the ceremony and they was like cackling and laughing. They was just doing their ceremonial sounds. But I was just like, okay, I see where they're going with this. That was cool. And then that woman who said that, her partner who said that about these ghetto ass space cops out here,
monks.
Is she of Darth Maul's like what's it, species or whatever? Like, cause she looked just like the nigga.
And that's, I'm also, because I'm not 100% sure.
And you said Darth Maul earlier about the other witches, so I'm like, is there any correlation there?
Yeah, that was my one thing. I'm not sure if she is from Dathomir. I think the people, I think Dathomir are those people who,
with the horns protruding, the several horns protruding.
Yeah, don't quote me on this one because I'm not 100% sure on that. But I do know that Maul is a race of people. And I wasn't even sure about the young Padawan who's being played.
Jackie Lon.
Yeah, because she has like the little horns.
But she look a little different than the other.
A little different too. Yeah, so I don't know the Star Wars, different races that well, especially some of the more expanded ones.
She just looked dead ass just like Darth Maul to me. So I was
damn sure does, and she looks like the witch of the Dathomir more than the rest of them do. So she might be from there, and that might be like the cross pollination. Like she came from Dathomir, got down with these covens, spread the word, all that type of shit.
Episode 3 was so important because it gave us all the they was talking about in episode 1 and 2 to see it. And that's what I'm saying. Why y'all talking so much about it? If y'all was just going to give us a whole episode where you show us what happened, but what happened with May and Osha and their background and how they came to be. Like, they literally, everything they was talking about, they spelled it out in actual action in episode 3. And I was like, this is what I needed. Another reason why I stand by what I said last week, which was episode 1 and 2 could have been one episode, and then we could have got another.
Don't disagree there. Yeah, so episode 1 and 2 could have been whatever, and we could have got right to this.
Could have been whatever. Right, let's just get right into it. Y'all could have started here. Like, this is how these niggas came to be.
At the same time, though, I do know that if they started off with a coven of witches, niggas who are Star Wars heads would have been like, fuck this show. And we talked about that last week, that I know that Leslie's not an idiot, and so I know that they're trying to make sure the criticisms, are tempered by giving people, here's a cantina, here's some lightsabers,
here's your vanilla wafer.
Yep,
so
there you
you're
go.
Familiar with the taste.
So now we can get into some women talking about the power
now
of
here's
three.
A kiwi, nigga.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, here's the real shit.
Here's the real shit. So, I like just the setup and the everything that happened this episode. Just how the twins and how old are they supposed to be? Like
8.
10?
8.
8.
They say it at one point because Soul was 4 when he was taken, and they're old to be taken by Jedi.
They're
That's
a little old,
thing.
right.
Yeah.
So they're 8, and that whole idea of the Jedi taking kids, and I'm like, y'all niggas is double speaking because, like, for example, when Mother, what's her name? Not Mother, but Master Trinity pulls up, and it's just like, oh, if you want to be a Jedi, no. First she says the Jedi have a right to train all children.
Yep.
But we're not going to take them. It's up to you. And I'm like, well, which one is it? Do I have a choice, or do I have to let my child take the test? Because it seemed like based on what she was saying, it was damn near law that if the Jedi pull up and think your child is special, quote, that they have a right to test them. And then therefore, if they pass the test, they get to scoop them away. But then again, Carrie-Anne Moss's character was trying to say, Indara was trying to say, oh, with your permission. But it didn't feel like with your permission.
Indara says a lot of bullshit to get her way, basically. Because Indara rolls up, and just like you say, her very first thing is that of a cop. She's like, you're part of the Republic. All kids in the Republic get tested.
Which is so and I'm like, no, the fuck we're not.
Brendock is in the hood.
What I mean?
Yeah, okay, y'all never come around.
We in the what's your ward that you live in, man? We in the
Trey. We in the
third ward, my nigga. Yep. This is not the Republic.
Mm-mm. So then she comes with the, but the Jedi have a right to train, Padawans who are gifted and all that. And then finally, it's with your permission, of course.
She add that at the end, and I'm like, no, bitch, that's as you said, it's the cop. That's that same cop type language where they just like, well, we got a right to do this and this with your permission, of course, right? And and it's double speaking. It's also purposefully confusing, especially like if you're the type not an Anastasia type or like them at all. If you're just some West bumfuck, Galaxy
Imagine.
A, and Indara and them pull up, you're just gonna be like, oh, okay, I guess.
Okay, here's my kid. Yeah.
So they are baby snatchers.
Oh, they are. I mean, like I said, when Guru talked about this on the show, it was like one of the things. I'm like, shh, you're saying the quiet part out loud, Guru. It's not something that I didn't know about Star Wars. We accepted this. Like, if you really look at it, it's even George Lucas starts questioning the Jedi in the Phantom Menace. It's not that well done. Obviously, the movies aren't the best. But he was already planning those ideas, and that's why that gets expanded so much in Clone Wars. That Dave Filoni comes along and it's like, okay, that's what he was trying to say. Let me, spell it out in clear detail that the Jedi are kind of
spell that shit out for me.
Yeah, I mean, in Clone Wars, it's spelled out. That's why I talk about how Ahsoka leaves the Order because she knows the Order is foul.
Right.
And she's like, this, it's not so black and white. Right. Nothing is as black and white as the Jedi make it out to be. And so that's exactly what Mother is saying in this episode. Mm-hmm. That's why I was fucking with her tough. And now I mentioned this on last week's episode, but I want to expand on it now because this one I was like, now your man Souls, he's an idiot or he's a zealot. I'm not sure which one it is.
He could be both because sometimes it's one and the same, right? Both things can
be true. Shout out to my brother Mason Betha because both things can be true. And when he sits there and says the Jedi don't take children as they're attempting to take the children.
And I'm like, who are these niggas? Like, how are you going to just lie in my face?
I mean, and you lying to the girl. Like, you are straight up lying to the little girls who you are
dealing. Like, oh, it's your choice.
And then you turn around and let her see the lightsaber.
It's like you offering the candy to kid. Now, this is where it gets critical as well and challenging from all sides because this is like, she's 8 years old. And in my head, your 8-year-old may feel strongly about certain aspects of their life and what they want to do or what they want to be. At the same time, you're looking at them like, you're 8.
Yes.
And your mind, and granted, this is a fictional place, but if you're likening it to the real world, your mind don't stop developing until you're 25.
No,
so
that's the point. The
you
Jedi
don't really know.
Are baby snatchers. They are snatching an 8-year-old. It is like, no, you have to apply that to real world. It is a real world. It is an 8-year-old kid.
I feel very damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if you look at the kid, if I sit here and say, you don't know what you don't know what you're talking about, even I say it in a loving way, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an 8-year-old child. And Mother says it in a loving way. Mother Anna says, she's like, your likes and what the things you want will change over time, even as an adult. Like what you think you really want now may not be what you want later, right? She says that to her. And, as an 8-year-old, you're just on it. You just like, I want that fucking Red Ryder gun. I want that fucking action figure. I want this. I want that. Like you on it, right? I get it. But I'm the asshole.
That motherfucking lightsaber,
you got the lightsaber. I'm the asshole if I tell the child you don't know what you want yet, right? I'm the asshole. But then I'm the idiot if I just let you go ahead. If I give you permission to just fucking go ahead too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like damn if you do, damn if you don't.
I mean, I was kind of shook when he handed that lightsaber, honestly. I'm like, nigga.
You thought he was about to open that shit?
No, I thought she might open, like, nigga, it's one flick of the wrist and then, off with her head.
Like it accidentally pops off.
There's the famous, shot of Luke Skywalker from the first Star Wars when Obi hands him the lightsaber, and there's a shot of him where he looks into it. Like, the nigga could easily...
It's like you're literally handing the child a gun.
Yes. And so that was kind of... But, also she's supposed to be force sensitive, so she, he trusts her with that.
She's supposed to be okay. But...
Wait, there is the other side to this baby snatcher argument, right? And that's touched on here. Now, the witches, they have the ability to raise a force-sensitive child, Apparently, somewhat. Now, there's also the question of, well, let me get to that in a second. First off, if they weren't, if like you said, Bumfuck Planet, Farmerville, whatever, and you got a force kid who's 4 years old, nigga, take this kid. You know what I mean?
You don't know what to do?
Like, we can't handle this. Like, this only ends badly for everyone involved if somebody doesn't train this kid.
Right.
So when it comes to being baby snatchers, for the most part, they are baby snatchers for the right reasons.
When it makes sense, I guess, but it's like also, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's still, and that's also the beauty of this conversation we're having in shows like this, where it's just like, it is a thin line, it's a fine line, and it's not one wrong or right answer, right? Like, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't a lot of times too. It's just like, okay, you a country bumpkin, you don't know no better. That kid might end up being, you are either not cultivating that child to their potential or something bad will happen, right?
Yes.
You do need to give the Jedi this child and let them figure that out.
When
or, you can say what they...
niggas.
You can also say the Jedi are messing with people's autonomy and all this other stuff, because who cares if they don't know what the fuck they're doing? That's their child that was born of their body and their DNA and all this other stuff. You understand? So I see both of those sides on that, which is also dangerous as fuck. But I see both sides on that, because also even a lot of people looking at this, which is why you have things like, Jedi supporters and non-supporters, while they're just like, there is no gray area. It's you can't take somebody's child, period. Like, people be very clear on that sometimes.
Now, something else I want to bring up that was touched upon when it comes to these children is the mother saying, if the Jedi knew how we made these children.
Right.
And
they would have a problem. That was a cop situation to me.
But there's two things to this, right? They tell the Jedi that the girls have no fault.
But that could mean anything. Because that could just mean the nigga ran off and say he was getting some milk and
I guess so. Because to me, it sounds like they're immaculate conception.
It's absolutely immaculate conception, but they didn't say
know that it is. But the way that Jedi didn't react to that was kind of like, okay, so they just took it as the nigga ran off to get some milk.
They took it as the nigga ran off. I mean, look at it. It's literally 55 witches, all females standing there. Ain't a nigga in sight, ain't a dick to be found. So why else would they think anything else? If a woman sits there and said that the nigga's gone, you are not going to be like, oh, well, there's some other stuff going on. No, you're just going to be like, oh, he ran off on the plug. Okay,
nigga, if 50 witches told me that there ain't no niggas around and they got 2 kids, I'm going to be like, y'all made them fucking kids.
I think
I'm not thinking the nigga ran off.
Took it, and also it could just be the plausible deniability that the show is trying to do. just about.
I'm like, nigga, y'all made these kids. What fucking evil magic you Wanda, you know?
But see, look at that. You said evil magic. You said some WandaVision magic.
Yeah, you motherfucker.
Doing the hex magic on it.
You gonna corrupt the town next?
No, but remember, like, and who knows what the Jedi was actually thinking, but I did also think they could have taken it as, oh, the guy's just not there. Who knows?
Now, but on that note, that is something, because the witches of Dathomir have been shown to have power over life and death and things of that nature, and to be able to create life. And that's also one of the things that is, like, at least in the normal lore of Star Wars, that's supposed to be the highest level of evil right there. Is, you know, when the power over life and death. That's what Palpatine is trying to offer Anakin when he says he actually says a Sith Lord before him figured out the power of life and death, and he can save Padme, you know, which he doesn't. She dies or whatever. Right. But there's legends of a Sith Lord from before them who had power for life and death, and that's supposed to be that next level of, like, you know, you're not supposed to be on that.
Like, you're not supposed to be on that. You're not a god.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing I could think of why the next step was saying it was evil. I'm like, why would that? It's not inherently evil. It's the fact that an imperfect being is wielding that type of power, where it's only supposed to be reserved for a god. But what about when you're in a universe where there's no such thing as a god? And
what about when you're witches who don't look at things as good or evil?
That. Where it's just energy. It's just you you reconstituted the energy in a different form, and here it is.
And while the Jedi are gonna look at you differently, the witches don't look at the Jedi like that, or, you know, give a shit about their concepts of light and dark.
And which is why I'm like, it's not evil. And, you know, we can still have the argument about whether that's
I think it isn't. And I think it's like, that is one of the, like, I think that's a much deeper thing about that I've talked about before, about men, you know, not being able to create life, so that men seek to control and destroy life, which always leads a bunch of men to be in my mentions talk about how it takes a man and a woman to make a kid and blah blah blah, and I ain't never seen a nigga carry a child for 9 months, so, you know, we'll figure that out one day, I guess.
Boy.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I think that's the point that is really trying to be made here, is that, no, it's not evil to be able to create life.
No.
Obviously not.
And they even gave gray areas with how they characterize the witches themselves. I had mentioned they did, like, kind of the classic witches cackling and going off. And they, as Chico would say, they're doing the hand jammies that Scarlet Witch be doing. So you're sitting there like, and they're wearing black and there's all this crazy shit going on. The moon is out there. All right. But also you see the very humanistic side of it with Anastasia, you know, crying about making this, not May, but Osha making this decision, like this huge life-changing decision, which goes back to my argument about, do you allow an 8-year-old to make that type of decision? I don't care how, you know, short she is, but then it's just like, but you're the asshole if you talk to the child like that too. So whatever. But you see her crying about that. You see the conversations happening about our family and this is our life. And even when they're doing that training session with May and Osha, and she actually holds the thread or the Force, she holds that thread in her hand and is showing them and explaining that idea of the power of one and the power of two and the power of many. And you mentioned about, well, it's kind of a bastardization, but of what the Sith do when they say there can only be two. Like, I feel like if everything starts with pure intentions, then someone else gets a hold of it, then bastardizes it or perverts it to their own use. And I feel like when you see like things like the witches doing this thing, where to me it's very pure because it's of straight from the source, and they're not trying to necessarily, even though they do label it, they're not labeling it like the Jedi label it. It's just something more purely intentioned about it than the Jedi do.
And that's interesting too, because the Sith, the rule of two comes because they are, you know, evil, you know, and that was always hilarious to me. It's like they're so evil that there can't be more than two because they're always trying to kill each other off to get more power. And I'm like, this is such a goofy, you know, Star Wars, like that's what I mean. There's a lot of stuff that is canon to Star Wars that is goofy as fuck, you know, when you take a look at it from any angle other than Zealot. And that's why,
you're right.
You know, it's like, come on, man. Like, not every motherfucker who's evil is gonna be trying to kill the other nigga. Like, two of these niggas are gonna figure out, yo, there's
how to get along.
Jedi, nigga.
We
like, we gotta figure out a way to work together, fam. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are literally thousands of these niggas.
No Sith is an island.
Nigga, like, we can't do this by ourselves. They can't keep getting away with this. We're making it so hard on ourselves.
We're making it so easy for them.
There needs to be like the comedy short about the Sith, like complaining about the shit. Like, nigga.
We really gotta stop killing each other, nigga.
Like, nigga.
Sith die every day.
You're my brothers. You know the man is
Darth Maul giving a sermon.
Darth Maul with the
horns.
No, with either the Kunta cap or
not the kufi
or the beret. You know, Darth Maul needs a beret and a leather jacket.
You gonna sit him in the wicker chair too?
Oh God!
He gonna have his two-sided.
I fully expected Mother to sit down in a wicker chair at some point during this episode.
For real. But back to her, like I just appreciate seeing a different point of view than just light side or dark side, than just Jedi and Sith. Like, yes. I loved seeing that. And then to my dismay, at the very end, they all get murked. But who murks them?
Now that is my question. All right, thank you for asking that. Because upon first watch, I once again cackled, and not in a good way.
Scream?
When Ma and Soul run out, and there is a room full of dead witches.
Yeah.
I'm like, nigga, what? There wasn't in the room when the explosion happened. Like, what the fuck?
I felt like I missed it. I rewinded it because I said, wait, did I miss something? And then, but an episode earlier, Osha had said that May was responsible for everybody dying. And I was like, how?
And did she poison them all?
In 10 seconds? What do you mean? Like, she lit.
Shorty put in work, nigga.
Let's go to the order of events. She got to be put away. Let's go to the order of events.
And she poisoned them before she lit the fire.
I understand May's sentiment, okay? Was she wrong? Yes. Did I understand her? Yes. May was like, bitch, I told you to lie because I'm not trying to leave my moms and them. Osha wouldn't listen. May feels very strongly that we need to be together. She's like, if I can't have you, no one can. Locked her little sister or her twin sister in the room and lit that bitch aflame. Okay. At what point does she... Well, she obviously sabotaged that engine room, whatever the fuck that was, and that's how everything else goes up a flame. But at what point did she have a confrontation or poisoning, or whatever the fuck that was with the rest of the witches? What did I miss? What frame was I missing? And I hope it doesn't look... What we saw in our... Remember, y'all, we saw the first 4 episodes ahead of time. I hope what we saw wasn't different from what everybody else be seeing on TV.
No.
You know, on Disney Plus.
It ain't. Okay. This is it, dog. Them shits had subtitles and everything. There ain't no change.
What frame was missing?
Nothing.
How did that happen?
Okay, what I'm hoping is there will be a... But...
Well, wait.
Because I can't... I figured out certain things that I don't want to exactly spoil yet because, you know, it's not like... It's stuff that you could have figured out by now. But we still don't know who the master is. We still don't know when does he exactly or they exactly come into the picture.
Right.
So is the master there and they murdered all these motherfuckers?
Well, listen, remember when after her sister did the Molotov cocktail into the room and ran off, and Osha was escaping through the vents and shit, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like that happens in every fucking movie. Like the vents are your savior. But she says, remember when she's running? Baby. Remember she's running, and at one point she's running, she hears screams. Well, I remember hearing screams, and she looks up and it's a vent, and there's a bunch of rocks falling down.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume that was the room where the witches were in, and they got buried and got rained on, you know?
Man, they got served
when did that
way
happen?
too
Like,
easily.
who did what?
And the thing is, I do not believe the master was there. So,
or was it a Jedi that did that? Because remember what?
Okay,
and Indara and them said, or not Indara, but the other master, the one that was floating in midair.
Yes, there's my other question.
We made a mistake. We shouldn't have did that. Did what?
Did what, nigga? You killed yourself? Like, nigga, you got served. You walked in the room, got served, and left. But
that's what I'm saying. Were they responsible for raining hell on the witches? Like, what What did they do? And why else would May be going after them? Why would May be going to go kill all four of them? Besides the fact that they took away her sister. Okay, so fucking what? If May is responsible for everything, then why did the Jedi? I don't get it.
And see, that's what I was talking about last week, where I'm worried about this show, because I'm worried that this show is going down the familiar path of May has been corrupted by the Master. He's fed her lies to the point where she's forgotten that she murdered all these people. I don't know.
Like, that early?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It does not really make sense to me, but it's none of it. That's where, and see, that, like, I didn't want to say this last week. As much as I enjoyed episode 3, it was also where I'm like, what the fuck, a lot too, because it's like, wait a minute, why is May running around killing these niggas, and why did my man's kill himself? I can get that he just was like, yo, we've been, snatching up kids forever, so I'm wrong.
He said we shouldn't have did what we did on Brendan Fraser Planet. Okay, so now I'm like, all right, so y'all niggas was responsible for this death. But then Osha says, no, May killed everybody. Yes. And granted, this could all be misdirection, but I'm just like, what's happening?
And the thing is, well, maybe he just feels overly responsible, because maybe he's like, if we'd never been there in the first place, none of that shit would happen. That's how I thought.
I just thought he had white guilt and was just like, I can't take it anymore. I dead ass thought that was white liberal guilt.
That nigga did bitch up for 10 years. Like, nigga, you could have done anything with them 10 years. Like, you know how many people you could have saved or done, He just went
and did his Bikram yoga. And
like a hoe.
and kept it going.
Like a straight hoe for 10 years. Like, what a bitch. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I have no respect for that nigga at all. He deserved to die. Burn in hell. Yes, I killed him.
Oh man, and then and of course that whole poison that came from their planet, that tree that little Osha was sitting under earlier, and also you can't get mad at the kid, but I was mad at the kid. I was just like, Osha, God damn it, your mother told you to keep yourself hidden, and your curiosity and wanting to just be out chair and be outside took the best of you, and when the fucking Jedi was like, oh, come out, you fucking came out. If I came out, my mother would have beat my ass. Like, ain't no way. So I'm just like, damn. It's like, I don't want to be mad because it's a child, but I wanted to be mad too. Like, God
She said, I don't want to share with her. Get her own.
Right. I was just like, you don't get it yet. What the black parents said, one day you'll understand. That's why I kept yelling, one day you'll understand. And now look at it. Fast forward, the girl ain't even a fucking Jedi no more. Or it's not even trained to be a Jedi. She ain't trained in 6 fucking years. She fucking left, decided to be a Namek, whatever they call these niggas that fix the ships and stuff.
I mean, she got to see the galaxy.
What the fuck you got to show for it? And now granted that hindsight is 2020, but god damn it.
Yeah.
You could have been a witch.
And, witch. Your mama died, everybody died because all right,
but they died because of her sister, allegedly.
Allegedly. All right, now, another thing about this episode and this series so far, and this relates to what we were talking about earlier, is this whole master thing and who murdered all these witches and what's going on. Because that's one thing at the end of this episode, we also see, I keep fucking up their names, young evil twin.
May? Yeah. Evil. Now you call her evil.
Yeah, young evil twin.
But I also think that was also that annoyed me too in the beginning of this series when I was just like, oh, here we go, the evil twin, right? The Jekyll and Hyde situation. But
they're definitely. But see, we'll get into all this. But we see
the evil one is May. Quote.
Okay, we see May step out into the wilderness by herself. Like, what the fuck, And so there ain't no master there waiting for her, So. Who knows when does this person actually come into the picture, right?
Right.
And now, I do want to put forth a theory I have right here that has been building up. And by episode 3, really by episode 2, because you just mentioned the poison, and that was one of my first big hints, right? Because there's this mystery of who is the master, for the Last Dragon fans.
Let's say show enough.
Yeah, show enough. And so you got to do it. You can't say who the master is. I'll say show enough. So it's one thing about writing when it comes to writing and when it comes to good writing. Any mystery, it has to be revealed that you've already seen the answer to it before they actually reveal the answer. You might not notice it, but it has to be there. In the terms of like, if it's a mystery character or let's say a murder mystery, it's someone you've met before. Because it can't be someone you don't know, because when they show up, you're like, what the fuck? Who is this person? Who cares that he murdered that person?
Where did they come from?
Oh, okay. You know, and then you have to explain, oh, I murdered him because of this and this. And you're like, oh, well, who gives a shit? You know? So it has to be someone we've seen before, right? So the master in this series has to be someone we've seen before, or the only other possibility is it's some big reveal of a character that, you know, any Star Wars fan knows instantly. Like, Obi-Wan is the evil master.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
No fucking sense, but it's one way you could do it, right? I can't really think of someone who could make sense other than like one of those legendary evil master characters who deep cut Star Wars fans know. I can't remember, Darth Raven or someone like that, right? It could be someone like that show up. But then to the casual viewer who's just been watching this show, they'd be like, who the fuck? And it wouldn't make any sense. And it wouldn't be good. So that's not good.
Right.
So it is likely someone that we've seen before, right? Now, this is when I started really suspecting this character, is in episode 2 when they provided the poison. That's right. Her bumbling idiot friend, I think, is the master.
Chimere. Manny Jacinto's character.
Manny Jacinto, beloved actor, I do believe, is the master. And my first hint was when he gave her the poison, because he says, oh, all Jedi have a weakness. And then he goes on to elaborate how, you know, Jedi only find peace and all this shit. I'm like, damn, nigga, you know a lot about these niggas, don't you? And you really hate them. Okay. You like really dislike them because you're like, oh, they only find peace when they, but really you can only give them absolution, you know? And it's like, damn, nigga, you sound like a hater over here. and who are haters of Jedi but the Sith, right? So that was my
Kendrick
first
Lamar. I hate these niggas.
Yeah, I hate you. I'm number 1 hater. Now then, my second hint was when they tried to pull the little twin trick on him, right? And rolled up.
Oh.
And he's like, you look just like her. And it was in that moment.
Osha wasn't May.
And not only did he know, it's just it was subtle acting by Manny Jacinto. It's like this moment in Usual Suspects when what's the name, sitting in the office,
Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, but before you know he's Kaiser Soze, at one point, dude figures out something that he shouldn't have figured out, and you see Verbal Kent react like, just I could kill this nigga. You know what I mean? Like, I could have this nigga killed. I can't believe I'm sitting here with this fucking idiot. Mm-hmm. You know? And it's this quick flash in Kevin Spacey's acting that I'm like, oh, okay. And Manny does that same thing. It's just the subtleness about it. He says, you look just like her. He's no longer...
He's not the bumbling
idiot anymore. He is now, you know...
You're right. It was very subtle, but he did give me, this is somebody different talking.
This is somebody different. So that was my second thought when I'm like, all right, this nigga's it. Then the third one, which really pretty much sealed the deal for me, is when the nigga shows up. He's like, wait a minute, I can take you to this Jedi master in the middle of the woods on a forbidden planet that nobody knows about.
A Wookiee.
Nigga, how?
So far.
Nigga, how? Like, nigga, you a bumbling idiot. You know what I mean? How? You was drunk a second ago, and then...
He said his job was to help supply people like me.
Yeah.
Help them, support them.
Yeah. Right.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, and that was my third, real one. And then in rewatching it, what really sealed the deal for me is when he first shows up, he's drunk. It's the classic drunken master. The
drunken master.
The befuddled idiot, the drunk. You're going to look at him like that, and then boom. And then the other side of it is it's the classic Star Wars. It's what Palpatine does to Anakin. He befriends him. He acts like he's just this old senator. Anakin, you should just do this and that. And then when it comes down to it, it's like, Anakin, ultimate power. And Manny is a fantastic actor. If you haven't seen The Good Place, you should. It's just a fucking great show. God, I love that show. And he's great. And I've never seen him do evil like this, And I think, because Leslie's talking about how this show is full of gray areas, I think he's going to be very conflicted and have some other sides to him. And I hope we get even some backstory, like a flashback episode with him, perhaps. So I really want to see what he brings to it. Because like I say, that one little hint when he was like, you look just like her. I was like, this nigga is.
He spoke a little different. I like this theory because it makes sense because I actually wasn't even thinking about the nigga, and that's how they do. They make you, they give you this view and throw your mind off like, oh, this is the idiot. Like, don't pay him no mind. And at the end of the day, that's the mastermind.
It was the quickness with which he whipped up the poison when I first was like, hold up.
I mean, he did like the fuck that he did this shit 30 freaking times before. You know, like he do this every other day.
Nigga. Like, here's some murder juice for you. Like, you know, it was like, that was way, you know, that was the first one, like I say. And then when I rewatched, the Drunken Master started coming to me. And then when he knew where Jedi Chewbacca was at, that's when I'm like, fuck out of here, nigga. Like, you were the evil master, dog. You know, no. So that is my theory. I'm sticking to it. Like I say, it's just, you know, it's one of those things. I don't feel like that was that hard of a mystery because it's good writing. And I'm not that good at figuring out mysteries, y'all. Like, a lot of people always like, oh, y'all be figuring out shit ahead of time. The only time I really figure out things is when things are written well. You know, because like if they're written well, then I can be like, oh, okay, that's how it should be.
What about when it's not written well and it's just like obvious?
Well, that's the other thing. If it's not, but okay, let's say not written well. If it's written according to like theory, I guess a writing theory.
A writing theory, okay.
Yeah,
because it follows the rules of
storytelling. Yes, it follows the rules of storytelling because that's at the basis. Because you can have like there can be so many levels of good and bad within that. But if you don't follow the basis of storytelling, you usually don't even get to the, you know, ever get your shit made. So it's like usually if you can follow the basis of, I don't know, but like, yeah, because when it's a good murder mystery, I'm usually fucking clueless.
What about Glass Onion?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. The first one, I didn't pay enough attention to care.
The first one.
And the second one, I haven't watched yet, so I don't know if I did it.
Oh, with Janelle Monáe, you actually should watch that one.
But like, okay, like something like Usual Suspects. In Usual Suspects, I figured out like maybe 10 minutes before. I couldn't remember what it was. But I was like, oh, fucking hell. You know what I mean? But it took me a minute watching Usual Suspects. Yeah.
But that's good. But I like those. Those are good thrillers. And you know, I
didn't know what's his name was dead in the Sixth Sense. Still, he was, you know. And I've had people tell me, I've had people tell me they knew that shit in 2 minutes of watching it, that the nigga was dead.
And I was like, how did you the fuck know? I think you're lying, but okay.
But if you really are paying attention, he never talks to anyone else.
You can say that in hindsight. Yeah, but you can also say that in hindsight.
Yeah, I know, but
so as you're watching, people may catch on.
Yeah, people are quick. So yeah, basically, you know, like if things, like I said, I can watch many a murder mystery and never figure the shit out. But you know, this one, I don't know, it was just like things just popped out to me in these 3 episodes where I was like, hold up, you know. And like I say, it was just that moment. That moment really did it for me when he was like, you look just like her, because he was so creepy. I was like, this nigga's creepy now.
Yeah. Okay.
And that got me. And it was like, it was really well done, man. Really props to Manny in that scene. Because I was like, whoa, nigga, like,
I may also agree, like, even absent of all those things you just said, there's like nobody else that would fit the bill.
There's
no other character where I was just like, oh yeah, them.
And that's something they haven't introduced enough characters where, you know,
it's like
where
only like 6 of them right now.
Yeah, it was not enough. It's like when you have a murder mystery, you see like 10 niggas, and I'm like, oh no, you know, it could be any of these niggas. You know, I never tried to figure it out.
It's like but so many people. It could be, yeah.
It was but so many people, and my man, like I say, it was that you look just like her, and it was the hate of the Jedi and knowing that everyone has a weakness. Where I'm like, nigga, like
the hate of the Jedi.
Nigga turned not like us on us real quick. Like they not like us.
Nigga.
That nigga had hate in his heart.
So then we have episode 4 coming up, which now, like I said, now that we rolling now, I'm awake now, and I'm just like, okay, now we cooking. Now what? Like episode 4, so now that we have the whole backstory of May and Osha, now we're gonna go back to present day and see what's up going forward, right? Because now Lord, I almost call him like Lord Lightsaber. Oh my God. Now Master Soul.
Not Lord Lightsaber.
Lord Lightsaber. He act like a Lord Lightsaber to me. But now
nigga's like
it's
Jedi
like a
number 1
fucking title for someone who's acting ridiculous.
And nigga's like, I am a Jedi.
I am the Jedi. But Master Soul has confronted May. May now knows Osha's alive. And Osha actually shot at her own sister, which is nice get back for what her sister tried to Molotov her years back.
I wouldn't have missed though.
Oh, because she missed twice. It wasn't one
like,
miss,
nah,
it was twice.
nah.
And I'm like, oh shit, I thought she was better than that.
Because she ain't missed with that Molotov.
Let's also notice, like, and you know, and now that I have 3 episodes in, you know, I'm going back to earlier scenes where they try to make it apparent that May and Osha are 2 different people. Like, for example, when Osha was locked up on the transport, the prison transport, where she couldn't reach Pip, and then she said, and for a hot second, she was like, well, maybe if I use the Force. So she said, I'm gonna give it a try. I ain't used this shit in like 10 years, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And it didn't work, right? Versus
at all.
This girl doing fucking moonsaults and RKOing niggas off the top rope, like, you know, her sister. So
no, that's why I knew like I peeped that earlier. Like when they were like, you know, when they were confused and they're like, well, maybe it's her. I'm like, nigga, this bitch can't do shit.
She kind of
she ain't doing nothing. Like
she ain't got it.
Maybe in episode 8, but not in episode 1.
Yeah,
man.
not right now. So that being said, that whole thought I just had about her struggling through the grates to try to get her little droid. I'm like, okay, so at what point is she gonna have her quick hero's arc to then be able to be back in touch with the Force?
No,
like what's happening?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm praying to avoid. They're
gonna do it. They're gonna fucking do it. She ain't hanging out with Lord Lightsaber for no reason, Ben. She is.
And what if they do this? Are they gonna do the power of 2 and have them like, you know, touch rings?
They are going to do the DBZ fusion dance.
No, dog.
And become
Mosha. No.
They're gonna become Moesha.
Wait a minute, ain't that Brandy's?
They are going to fucking fusion up. Moesha will appear, and they're going to fuck up the galaxy together. I don't fucking know, Ben.
No, see that's what. Okay, I couldn't talk about that until we got to episode 3 because that's where I feel like it's going. And having seen 4 at all, I feel like that's where it's really going.
In the beginning, the little girls are singing. The 2 becomes
I know.
The 2 of
as
one
above in the sea.
And we're together. We'll always.
Oh, God.
And me will always be like, nigga. They gonna fusion.
If they do the Sailor Moon moment and like costume up and shit,
they're gonna fucking fusion.
No, Moesha is not happening.
To become Moesha. Guaranteed. Even for a hot second, I guarantee it.
Oh God, that's what I couldn't talk about this last week, but that's where like, even when the show started getting good, I'm like, are we going down this road? And then 4, you know, without saying too much, made me feel like, yeah, we might go down that road. we might, but there's still hope because there's still 4 more episodes.
There's mad episodes left.
And there's like, and we could do anything. We could get real dark real quick.
There's 5 more episodes left. We're on episode 3, so there's 5 more episodes
there's 5 more episodes left. But, you know, history and writing and like you say, like, you know, they don't introduce things to not bring them back. And, you know, they don't have these little girls singing this Freddie song for no reason.
I love the and so.
Like, I already predicted, you know, who the master is. So it's like, this song coming back feels like there'll be like a choral version of it in the background. Like, you know,
thank you for saying choral. That's the thing I wanted to mention about what Osha gave me this episode. She gave me Ariel the Little Mermaid.
Oh, I thought you were saying
no. Choral just made me think of actual choral. No, okay. She gave me the Little Mermaid where it was about, I know I'm a fucking princess and I have all this power and I'm a witch, but I want to know what the ghetto ass Jedi are doing.
Yes,
I want to know what the people out of the sea are doing on the beach and with the legs and shit. That was your argument. You were just like, just about Ariel in general. You were just like, why would you want that when you are this?
I still have not seen these movies, so I don't understand it.
You know the story of the Little Mermaid, though.
I do, and it just don't make no goddamn sense to me.
And but that, I literally, when I was watching this, I really sat there and said, Osha is the fucking Little Mermaid. And I said, Ben was right. Like, I just immediately thought of that idea of, like, the grass is greener on the other side, a whole new world. Like, her, like, I understand her wanting to see other children and wanting to be her own person. For her to be like, I want to go see the ship and be over there. And May is like, we got everything we need right here, shawty. What's the problem? So
y'all ain't got grass. like, again, they had to go to where the Jedi ship was before we saw grass. Like, you might call the Jedi
you
ghetto.
Saw where their house at. They live in the mountains with the Jabari. What do you mean? They in you live in a baller ass castle. You got the power.
But that shit was dark all around you.
Who gives a fuck?
Nigga, I like the sun, nigga. I don't know about
you. The sun
like,
comes out. Come on, don't let that little. They was first of all, it was nighttime in that scene, so that's why
it seemed like it was always night.
No, because when May first went outside and was sitting under the little
that's right.
Tree,
They was out. You're right.
It was beautiful, and the only reason why they couldn't be out was because the Witcher was like, the Jedi are here. You can't be outside. They is looking for your ass right now. That's the only reason.
True indeed.
I know if there was no threats and stuff like that, they'd probably be out frolicking and shit. Come on.
Are you right there? Are you right? Yeah, I know. Shorty is bugging. Shorty's definitely bugging. But then, her sister is also
old, and it's just like
she also peeps that her sister's, psychotic.
Her sister's off done.
I'd be ready to bounce too.
May is on that other shit for sure.
Yeah, like, I mean, her first response was, "I'll kill you."
Right, like that shit. I thought we loved each other, and also you just saw a lot of the. It was like what is that old movie with nigga from Home Alone, like the other child or the stepchild or some shit like that?
Oh, the good son.
The good son. That was Mary. He was giving
God.
Good son. Where it's just like, bro, I thought we's family. And she talking about how much I love you. I'm like, why are you being so extreme? And every time she disagreed with Osha, May was like dead ass wanted to fucking strangle her, like Homer be strangling Bert, like dead ass wanted to fucking hurt her. And I'm like, you got to calm down.
Fam, I've talked about this because I didn't see The Good Son until like last year, I think.
Oh man, that movie was my shit.
And then not only that, I only caught like the last 30 minutes. So Macaulay getting dropped, nigga, I fell out of my chair laughing. I could not.
You gotta watch the whole
Oh my
thing.
God. They dropped that nigga like he was a bad habit. Shorty made the easy choice. No, I went back and read the Wikipedia. It was definitely dropped that nigga.
She made the right choice.
Yeah, that nigga was a monster.
And unfortunately, May is the good son in this, but God damn.
Yeah, no, I would have dropped that. I would have dropped May too, because Shorty out here wilding. But I think that's about it for episode 3. Anything else you want to discuss?
Other than I'm engaged.
Yeah,
I am
too.
Now part of the tribe, of the Acolyte tribe, and now I see why everybody's excited about it. I don't get it. I didn't get it episode 1 and 2, but I get it now. And I'm just looking forward with how they do this. And I do hope, like you, that they continue on the path of doing something different. Leslie and friends do something different with this and not tread down the same path that we've been seeing. I feel like a lot of Star Wars properties do that, where it starts out so hopeful and then I don't know if the fans get to them or what. And this is already written, so it's done. But it's like somebody gets to them and then something changes.
It's corporate, usually. I would say. It's not even the fans. Because usually, like you say, it's already done.
Yeah.
The fans were like the last, what was that? Because like the Last Jedi.
Jedi and all that.
The fans' reaction to that ruined the next one. That's why that shit was a hot mess. But like the fans' reaction to a lot of stuff has now guided Disney. Yeah, so where it's like, okay, we know, if we do this, this is how they're gonna react. They, they know how things are gonna go now. So that's why I said that's why this show started the way it did. And didn't start with the Coven of Witches. Yeah. So they would be like, niggas would have lost their mind. Like,
Unfortunately, Anna Sane and them got the true death. But I do hope that we do see more like stories or more episodes where you still see more of the women-focused or women-led action happening. That's not tied to any other man or tied to anybody else particularly, because the witches were like completely like on their own shit. Like this is what we do and this is our lives, and I fuck with that. So
yeah, me too. It had nothing like we talked about. It had nothing to do with the Jedi or Sith, and that's always interesting because they've done that so much in animation, but it feels like whenever they start trying to tread down this path in live action, the fans react so differently, and that's always interesting to me. I think it goes back to the thing we were talking about when we talk about animation
could do anything.
Yeah, and people just are more willing to accept things than they are for live action. Just, the backlash to The Last Jedi was so crazy to me because it was from people who'd seen Clone Wars. You know, it was from true, like, people who'd watched everything. And I'm like, nigga, they said all the same stuff in Clone Wars. Like, why are y'all mad now? And, you know, I never got that. Because
somebody that looks like me or somebody looks like you or whatever.
I was like, I don't know, but whatever. And so we'll see how they react to episode 3 because I think there's going to be some definitely interesting takes. But I think this episode was so well done that, and because they've already given you what you want. You know, you've seen lightsabers, you've seen the Force. So now we can get into something different. And they've also promised you, you know, the traditional shit, a dude in a dark mask with a red lightsaber. So, you know, that's coming. So we know that that's coming. So people are, you know, I think they're feeding everybody. So that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right.
Make
Anything
sure.
else? Yep.
No, just for everyone to appreciate you listening to us and watching us. Make sure you are subscribed to us on the YouTubes, youtube.com/ForAllNerds TV. Make sure you are subscribed, followed, all that to us on every social media platform as ForAllNerds, on every podcast platform, ForAllNerds. Benhameen's beautiful Gucci Mandalorian shirt, that's one of my AKAs, that is live, as well as Lionel Richie. And you can get the Magneto is Right t-shirt on ForAllNerds.com. You can also get it off of TikTok. If you go to ForAllNerds TikTok shop, our tea will be there. If TikTok is your choice of poison, good luck to you. I know you're adding that along with your stepper and every other random piece of bullshit on that site. You should see the things. And I'm also a victim of that. I've been buying some shit off of TikTok shop, man. They got me. They got me. So
I've actually been TikToking, you know, but I haven't been.
No,
I've been posting. I ain't really done nothing else.
The videos work, but so make sure y'all doing that. Please, the other reason why, like, obviously, we just want you to be wearing drip, but also these shirts support us. Okay, we are still an independently funded, independently Black-owned company. Production, everything we do is for us, by us, and it's for you all as well as for your betterment, your benefit. So we appreciate everything you do to support us in that endeavor. You can also support us by going to Patreon, patreon.com/ForAllNerds. And really listening, watching, sharing, telling people about us, commenting, all types of engagement with all of our properties shows that you care and shows that you fuck with us, and it makes a difference. So please continue doing that. And if you aren't doing that yet, start it right now. We appreciate you. And follow me, Tatiana King, on socials. And this one is DJ Benhameen.
And make sure you head over to biddjenergy.com and you can still pre-order my graphic novel, Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze, written by me and Mello Brown, illustrated by Tom Mandrake, dropping before you know it. You can get a signed copy right there. Very soon, I'll be talking about some signings I'll be doing all over the place. I'm going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, so look out for me out there. And definitely doing a few in New York. One in DC, perhaps one in Houston, maybe Toronto, maybe London later on this year. You know, we out here. We're going to be all over the place. Thank you for all the support. biddjenergy.com. Get yourself a copy. Get you some free music. You know, support the movement in all the different ways that we are out here bringing you this goodness and this greatness. Thank y'all for the love. Peace. Hey y'all, thank you for watching this For All Nerds video, whatever video it was that you just watched. Make sure you hit these buttons below. Press all those buttons, that like, that subscribe, whatever you see right below these fingertips right here. Just hit them, hit them, hit them.